Man, wipe this cold out my eye. So let me go on YouTube and let's see what other critics had to say about The Last Jedi. Man, The Last Jedi, straight trash. Dude, I did not like The Last Jedi. I just thought it was just like it tried too hard to be different. Attack of the Clones was better than The Last Jedi. Why they ruining my childhood, man? Why they ruining my childhood? Yo! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. Y'all need to cool this Star Wars hate out. And that's the double truth. Ruth. So, yeah, man, I had to wait a few days to do my spoiler review. Well, because I was trying to get my laptop together, and also I just wanted to hear what other people had to say about it. Because I like to shoot my review first and then put it out there. Then I want to see what other people said about it. And I'm surprised the amount of hate that this movie is getting. Like, never in the history of Star Wars have I seen fans so divided. I'm not here to defend The Last Jedi because if you see my spoiler-free review, you know that I love the movie. I gave it an A+, and damn it, I'm sticking to it. I don't care what nobody says. I love the movie. But I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise because once your mind is made up, you don't like something, you don't like something. So no matter what I say, you're still not going to like the movie if you didn't like it. Like, I like watching Stuckman and Johns and the Schmoes and Jody's Corner, J3 Entertainment. And Jody's Corner, Jody actually really hated this movie, man. Like, I was almost in shock by how much he hated this film, man. But I love Jody's Corner, man. I watch it faithfully, man. I'm a big fan. He inspired me to do my channel, so I have nothing bad to say about him. But I'm just surprised at the hate that this movie has gotten from him and J3. Stuckman gave it some love. Jeremy Johns, I'm still waiting on his final grade because he didn't give a grade. He wanted to let it marinate a couple of days, so I'm waiting to see his score on it. When it comes to Star Wars, you know, the hardcore fans, we have certain expectations. You know, if I was a filmmaker and I was given the opportunity to make a Star Wars film, I wouldn't do it because Star Wars fans are almost similar to New York sports fans, where there's just a high amount of expectation, and if you don't meet it all the way, you're hated for it. The Last Jedi, I think fans are so divided on that movie because of how different it was. Like, it was different, but yet it did pay homage to the other movies, like I said, but it did bring something new to the table. And I dug that because it's going in another direction. Like, I don't want the same formula every Star Wars movie. Branch out, you know, be different, go in another direction. And that's what I think The Last Jedi did, man. Like, we hold the original trilogy up on a pedestal so high, including myself, like I do. Like, I praise the old trilogy all the time. But we hold it on such a high pedestal that we want every movie to live up to that or to be almost similar to that. And damned if you do, damned if you don't, because The Force Awakens was pretty much a remake of New Hope, and that movie got a lot of hate. So, I mean, with us as Star Wars fans, we're very hard to please. I mean, I myself included because I'm one of the people that didn't like Rogue One. I hated Rogue One except for the Darth Vader scene. Like, I had no love for the movie. Now I'm going into some spoiler talk here. I'm not going to go all full spoiler review on this. I'm just going off the top of the dome here because I'm just kind of responding to a lot of the hate this movie has gotten. So I would agree with most people that Snoke was underwhelming. He was not really he wasn't used that good. And matter of fact, I think was it Ryan Johnson or somebody was saying that Snoke was darker than Sidious. Not even close. Snoke was okay, but he really wasn't used that much. But come to think about it, I think Snoke anyway was just like a stepping stone for Kylo Ren to get the way he needed to get. But I guess it's false advertising because Snoke was supposed to be like the new big baddie, and plus he's played by Andy Serkis, so we just thought he was going to be like that next badass, and that didn't happen. Kylo Ren took him out in brutal fashion. So now Kylo Ren is the supreme leader, and I felt a little let down because I expected more from Snoke, but I understand why they did what they did because Kylo Ren had to become who he had to become. On Jody's Corner's review, he posted he had footage of Mark Hamill actually bashing the movie, saying that he wanted to go a different route. He wanted something different for Luke Skywalker. But at the end of the day, Mark Hamill is an actor, and most actors will tell you they envision their character different than the version that they see on the screen. Okay, so I love the way Luke Skywalker was done. I thought it was a good send off to his character. It was very emotional at the end. Him looking at the two sons like he did in A New Hope, and that's the way he died. And he just became one with the Force. I thought it was a beautiful send off to his character. And yeah, you can argue and say, well, that's not the Luke Skywalker I know. Of course it's not. Look, people change over the years. Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, by the time we get to this movie, he has seen a lot of stuff. He's been through a lot, man. He's seen so much death and just all kind of craziness. And yeah, sometimes you get to the point where you're like, okay, everything that I believed in or what I thought I believed in, is it all BS? So he got to the place where he didn't have faith in the Force anymore. And he didn't even want to use it. Like Rey even said, like, you disconnected yourself from the Force. And I thought it was cool because it shows how Luke is this broken character, and then by the end, he gets his faith back. He saves the Resistance, and he goes out, as a true warrior. Like he redeemed himself before he died, and I thought it was a good arc to his character. I loved Luke Skywalker in this movie. I thought Mark Hamill portrayed him best in this film, and with every character, with Rey and Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker and Carrie Fisher, and even Poe Dameron, I thought all of those characters had good arcs because by the end of the movie, they were different than what they were when they started. And Finn in this movie, Finn is not a running slave like he was in The Force Awakens. I'm sorry, Finn in Force Awakens, you know how I felt about it. All the guy did was run and sweat and be frantic and try to hit on Rey. Not really interesting at all. But in this movie, he kind of comes into his own. He starts to show balls, especially when he's about to sacrifice himself at the end, and he gets saved by his new love interest. I guess she's a love interest. The Rose chick or whatever. She stops him and reveals her love for him. Yeah, we still don't know who Rey is. I mean, in The Force Awakens, it's like, okay, where does Rey come from? Who are her parents? Okay, what's the deal with Kylo Ren? And Snoke. Who is Snoke? Like, there was like a million theories of who Snoke was. And by the time this movie came, none of those questions were really answered because, I'm thinking, okay, who is Rey? Like, at first I was like, wait a minute, is Rey and Kylo Ren twins? Because when they were communicating with each other through the Force, I'm like, okay, I've never seen that between two Jedi or whatever. So I whispered to the nerd next to me, the guy that kept looking at me like, shut up. I'm looking at him like, they're twins. They gotta be twins. Because remember in the Star Wars books, which I guess they're not film canon, but in the books, it was mentioned that well, not mentioned, but Luke and Leia, well, yeah, that'd be incest. Leia and Han had twins, all right, boy and a girl. So I'm thinking, oh, did they put this in the movie? Are those the twins? But nah. Come to find out, Rey comes from nobody. She just comes from some random people who got rid of her, and that's her origin. But that could change by the next movie. In Empire Strikes Back, which is the best Star Wars movie of them all, people were mad when that movie came out because, once again, there were a lot of questions unanswered, and people were pissed off at that movie. Return of the Jedi answered all those questions. But over the years, Empire in a lot of people's hearts and minds became the best movie. So I think, like in this one, right now people are hating on it because it's like, damn, we still don't know anything that was asked in The Force Awakens. We still don't know. We have another movie in the trilogy. Of course, you're not going to get all the answers right there. We have a whole nother movie to complete it, man. So just be patient. Be cool. I lost my shit when I saw the back of Yoda's ears. But when I actually saw Yoda, the CG, he looked very cartoonish. It took me a minute to get adjusted because I'm like, okay, I'm watching a cartoon version of Yoda here. But after I got adjusted to it, I said, okay, he does look like Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. But it was kind of a silly scene because you see Yoda being silly, and that wasn't Yoda's character. Yoda was only silly to, in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back because he wanted to see where Luke's head was. And then when he revealed who he was, that's when, like he was testing Luke in Empire. That's the only reason he was being funny like that. In this one, he was acting like that, but it was like that was his character. Like, no, there's nothing goofy or funny about Yoda. Yoda is serious as cancer. Yoda is the ultimate Jedi Master. And they just made him too comical in this. So yeah, it was good seeing Yoda again and to hear his music and everything. But yeah, it was a little out of place to me. But it was cool seeing him and Luke interacting with each other again. Kylo Ren in Force Awakens was a whiny brat who just threw temper tantrums, and by this one, he comes into his own. Like especially after he kills Snoke, like there's no going back now. There's no more conflict of whether you want to be good or bad. After he killed Snoke, he was all the way bad, and I love the scene where Luke walks up and he walks up to Leia and tells Leia like I'm not here to try to change him. I'm here to confront him. Like this boy is gone, and Leia gave a blessing like I know my son is gone. Do what you have to do. And yeah, that lightsaber fight was probably one of the shortest and weakest of the lightsaber fights in a Star Wars film, but yet it was such an emotional, impactful scene because it's the teacher against the student, and they have one final face-off. And yeah, it was the lightsaber fight but it wasn't about the fight. It was about the confrontation, the relationship that these two characters had, and when Luke when it was revealed that it was a projection and Luke was still on the island meditating, like I almost lost my mind. I thought that was probably one of the most it was such a crazy scene. For those that hate The Last Jedi, I recommend watch it one more time. Just watch it again. Maybe give it a couple of viewings and see if your mind has changed. Christian Harloff, the one part of the Schmoes, he said first time he watched it, it was okay. The second time he watched it, he loved it. I've seen the movie twice. First time I watched it, I loved it. Second time I watched it, I still love it. Okay? It is up there with the best of them. It is not the best Star Wars movie. I'm not saying it's the best Star Wars movie. That crown still belongs to Empire Strikes Back. I'm not even going to put it over the original Star Wars. I'll say it is the third best. I'll put it over Return of the Jedi. And that's a bold statement because Jedi still to this day has some of my favorite moments in Star Wars history, but just as a whole film and how I felt when I left the theater, man, I think that The Last Jedi was better than that. Especially seeing the completion of the Luke Skywalker character. So that's my opinion, man. To the haters, did you watch it again? Did your mind change about it? What did you think about it, man? Thank you for watching. As always, this is Rashad G signing out. May the force be with you.